You gave up a TV job to start a podcast in your basement. If that doesn't scream midlife crisis, I don't know what does.
It was Championship Sunday here in Indianapolis.
What's the mindset then coming in as a defending champion?
I want to win. No, I want to win.
The young lady over my shoulder, Caitlin Clark.
Not the best looking guy. And I don't think anyone's going to sit here and say, Matt Randazzo was really good looking.
What has this last month 2 months, 3 months been like for you? It's an important fan base for the Fighting Illini, is it not?
It is.
He turned 69 years young last week. He looked good, Coach.
Oh, try it. Thank you.
Welcome to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Tuesday in the Quad Cities, Tuesday, February 24th. Thank you guys for joining us wherever you are, however you are taking in the podcast, the show. We greatly appreciate it. If you're on YouTube watching us live, thank you for that. Make sure you're subscribed. If you have subscribed, thank you. If you have not subscribed, please do so ASAP. Getting really, really close to 1,500 subscribers. So thank you if you have subscribed. And if you haven't, come on, let's go. What are we waiting for? It's time to get subscribed as well. We're also live on X. X has been very, very good to us as well. So anybody partaking in the show via X, thank you for that. Be interactive with the show. We talk about it every day, but the YouTube chat, always a lot of fun. The X and reaching out in that form, also great as well. So be interactive with the show as well. We're also available on all the podcasting platforms as well, whether it's Spotify, Apple, iHeart, Podbean, wherever you get your podcasts. Put in Off the Air with Matt Randazzo, and you can listen to the show each and every day. So once this thing gets done around noon, I take about 15 minutes. It gets right up there, and you can listen to the show working out, going for a run, running errands, anything you're doing at night. Take a listen to Off the Air and what we're doing each and every day at 10 a.m. right here in the Quad Cities. We also want to welcome our viewers from Central Iowa. We are on each and every night at 7 p.m. on the WHO streaming app. Great reports there, great numbers there. Appreciate people checking out the show and watching. We appreciate that. Wherever you are, however you are supporting the show, we do greatly appreciate it. Monday's show was a lot of fun. The Iowa women with a signature victory this past weekend over Michigan. We chatted with Kyle Huseman about that win. Looking forward, it's Iowa versus Illinois on Thursday night. Ladies taking center stage at Carver Hawkeye. Looked ahead to that a little bit. So if you missed our chat with Kyle Huseman, go check that out ASAP. Also, we took about 40 minutes yesterday and celebrated the life of Father Marabelli. Honored him the only way we could by telling stories and laughing and remembering what a great human being Father Marabelli was. Father is Alleman High School, always will be Alleman High School. Passed away this past weekend. So another big thank you to legendary head coach Larry Schulte, former Alleman student athlete and coach himself, Pat Rangel, and then John Marks, who's a Hall of Famer at Alleman, also coached there, played there, all those kind of things. So had a really fun time doing that. Great response to it, which was nice, but we didn't do it. We didn't do it because I wanted a lot of people to watch it. I'm glad a lot of people have, but I think it was good for myself. It was good for Johnny. It was good for Pat. It was good for Larry, just to listen to the great stories of Father Marabelli. And if you hear a story about Father, you usually think of one of your own, or two, or three, or 10. So if you have those, share those on the chat, on the Facebook posts, all those kind of things as well. We do greatly appreciate it. And then also yesterday, we had a lot of fun with the Makokada girls. The Cardinals heading back to state. Had a great season. They'll play Monday at 8:15 against Mediapolis, and we'll get to them in a second. But the Makokada girls were a bunch of fun. I apologize to Coach Specht because they were pretty rough with him. They traded a few jabs. So, Coach, I will get you back on the show so you can respond to and maybe jab back, if you will. But a bunch of fun. Go check out yesterday's show. It was a really great way to start the week. As for today, a lot to get to coming up. In a matter of moments, we go from Kyle Huseman, which is the rock of the Hawkeye Report, to Tom Kakert, who hasn't been here in a while. Tommy's been tough to get a hold of. He's big time these days. So Tom Kakert will join us in a matter of moments to talk a little Iowa men's basketball. Their loss at Wisconsin. They've got a big game coming up tomorrow night against Ohio State. So we'll talk some basketball, but A lot of news recently in the last couple days about a quarterback in the state of Illinois that is one of the most highly recruited quarterbacks in the entire country right now, up to number 2 for the class of 2027 by a lot of publications. And the Iowa Hawkeyes, some feel, are the leader, have emerged as the leaders to land one of the best high school quarterbacks in the country. So we'll talk with Tom Kakert about that and get his thoughts on Iowa landing a really good quarterback. And you look at it since Tim Lester's got there, especially since Tim Lester's gotten there. Mark Gronowski was a great land. They really like the Hecklinski kid and Hank Brown next year. And then the recruiting is going well with the landing Sullivan, and I'm going to forget the young man's name that they landed this year, the 4-star kid. But they've done a good job at the quarterback position. They could do even like really a home run if they could land this. So we'll talk with Tom Kakert, a little football recruiting here in February. And then also yesterday we talked with the Maquoketa girls. Today the Mediapolis girls are heading to state as well in hour number 2. We'll chat with them. A trio of young ladies will join us, and that's going to be a great matchup. I know it's a 2 seed versus a 7 seed, but the 7 seed is undefeated. The 2 seed has high expectations. Probably the highest expectations in school history. The 7 seed is undefeated. The 2 seed is extremely challenged this year when it comes to playing some really good teams. They've been tested a lot this season. So it should be a great matchup. The Mediapolis girls coming up later on in hour number 2 of the show. A big night of high school basketball for the girls as well. We'll run them down real quick. In Illinois, Wethersfield, Alleman, Galesburg, and Moline all playing, and I believe A-Town as well, all playing for in sectional semifinal action. So especially in Galesburg, the Metamora Galesburg game at 6 p.m. tonight, one of the best games in the entire state tonight. So a full slate for the ladies in Illinois. In Iowa, we have 2 teams in 2A or in 3A in the Quad City area. Also tonight, Pleasant Valley will make the long trip to Waukee Northwest to take on a really good Waukee Northwest team. Central DeWitt has had an amazing season. They'll host Solon, looking to get back to state as well. And Clinton's had an awesome season as well. Coach Marks and company go on the road to 19-2 Clear Creek Amana. Should be a really, really good game. Clinton playing really good basketball this season. Watch out for the River Queens tonight. I can see them upset Clear Creek Amana as well. So that's kind of what tonight looks like when it comes to ladies. The high school boys action, busy last night, all of those kind of things. A great time of year if you're a high school basketball fan. We'll get to some college basketball in just a second. Last but not least, the NFL going back over to Germany, and my Detroit Lions are going to Germany. And when you lose a home game to going overseas, you don't love it. And I think the Bears will probably end up doing it. A lot of teams do it, not complaining. Amon-Ra St. Brown was born in Germany, raised to spend a lot of time there, so cool for him to go back. But I had to throw it in there. It's not nowhere close to football season, but it is. The combine, I believe, starts next week. The draft is just around the corner. Free agency is real soon. It's like beginning of March, second week of March is like you rock and roll. So we'll be talking plenty of football here on the show as well. But we're going to start today with a familiar face, but I'm not going to lie, it's a guy we haven't seen in a little bit of time. So back after a long break, you weren't on last week, Tommy.
Oh, thank goodness.
The
The ratings
numbers
probably went up.
They were amazing. Honestly, the best week in numbers we've ever done in our life. No, I'm just kidding. It was a good week. I missed you, pal. How is everything? How was Wisconsin? How was Wisconsin? I do too. How was Wisconsin?
It was Wisconsin. It's nice up there. It's all right. Madison's. I drove up and then I drove back.
It's not a bad trip at all, is it?
No, it's not. But it's just I'm in there and then I'm out. I worked and that was it.
It's easier than Champaign, isn't it?
Yes and no. Um, it's okay. Yeah, it's about the same length of trip,
Yeah.
3 hours.
Yeah. No, it's not bad. It's not bad at all. Okay, thoughts. Let's talk basketball. Iowa, obviously, we haven't talked to you since they knocked off Nebraska. I kind of worried it was a bad spot against Wisconsin because they were
Oh, it
coming off a
was.
loss and
Terrible.
Iowa's coming off a win and all those kind of things. Played well first half. Your thoughts, your headlines when it comes to Sunday's game with Wisconsin.
Yeah, it was. Iowa did play well in the first half. They shot it well, and then didn't play particularly great defense. I mean, it was 41-40. I was like, boy, neither team is playing really lockdown defense. And then Wisconsin started to get some stops in the first half and slowed Iowa down a little bit. And then I don't know. It's just Iowa's offense just sort of started to sputter, and the defense, they couldn't keep Nick Boyd out of the lane. He was getting a lot of downhill drives, and he finished with 27 points, almost had a triple double, and they just struggled to keep him in front of them. And the Rap kid hits what 4 or 5 threes, and that was pretty much the story of the game. Is that they just they shot it well. Iowa did not shoot it well in the second half, and that's how you get to 84-71. And I think what we're learning about this Iowa team is if they're going to beat these upper echelon teams, they got to play that game in the 50s or 60s because they can't win these shootouts. They just don't have enough offensive firepower. They can do that against Northwestern and Rutgers and programs like that. But they're going to struggle to keep up with the better teams in the Big Ten. So that's kind of my nutshell observation.
Tommy, if you look at it, and if I would have told you before the game that Iowa scored 71 points, what would you have thought the result would be? Would that have been enough? Because in my opinion, 71.
Probably
I know
not.
that Wisconsin it's a different Wisconsin. Everyone thinks Wisconsin and they think of the old school, slow you down. It's a different Wisconsin.
The old Bo Ryan teams.
Yeah,
the old Bo Ryan.
But I what I've come to find is like the one thing you knew about Iowa was their defense was really good. And that's not been the case of late. If Iowa's going to do things down the stretch, doesn't the defense have to be, obviously it has to be better than it's been, except for Nebraska in the last 2-3 weeks.
It just has not been consistent in its performance, the performance on defense. They have really, and that's what concerns me about Wednesday night against Ohio State is they have struggled to keep guards out of the lane and the guards that can kick or finish around the rim. And that has been an issue for them for several weeks now. And in comes Bruce Thornton, who, by the way, player of the week in the Big Ten this week, averaging 29, 5, and 4 assists or something. And, playing at a high level and playing for a desperate Ohio State team that has 0 quad 1 wins and is desperately in need of one for their NCAA tournament hopes. And Iowa has struggled stopping guards. And Thornton's one of the best guards he's probably the most underrated guard in the conference this year, I think. He's a career 2,000 point scorer, and they're going to have to, and he's terrorized Iowa in the past. Now, totally different team, totally different organization for Iowa. So, that doesn't hold a whole lot of weight, but it's still something. And they got to get this win. So it's a huge spot for both teams on Wednesday night.
For defense, Tom, is it the perimeter defense keeping guys out of the lane? Is it the lack of a rim protector in the defense? I was gonna say, or was it all of the above? Go ahead.
It's all of the above. It's both. They don't have a rim protector. They don't have somebody who's gonna eliminate shots, and they just have been suspect in stop and dribble drive and stopping. I thought Sunday maybe some of it was that Boyd's a left-hand dominant guy, and that's always funky. Guard somebody who's a lefty who can go hard to the bucket, but he's the quickest guard I've seen in the Big Ten this year. He just glides around the floor, and he's really good at getting to the rim and being shifty and finding guys. And yeah, they just pulled away in the second half and kind of the game was closer than the final outcome ended up being. By the way, Wisconsin only got called for 3 fouls. Now I'm old, my eyesight's not very good. I'm up top a little bit there,
And you're ugly. You're ugly too.
and yeah, well, that goes without saying. That doesn't determine the fact that I
Calling
could see
fouls.
fouls. My
I just wanted to
ugliness.
point it out. I just wanted to point it out.
And there was just no fouls. They just didn't call anything on Wisconsin until like 10 minutes left in the game in the second half, and it was like
It was 12.
I
It
don't
was 12
know.
minutes, Tom. We were keeping track at home. It was 12
Okay.
minutes in before there was a foul called, and that was
Okay.
and after a first half where I think Iowa went to the free throw line a decent amount of times, and
Yeah.
things changed, and that's my biggest thing with refereeing and officials is consistency. And it happened during the year in another game. I can't think of which one it was, but things are just completely called different in the second half. I know Iowa doesn't attack the rim as much as some would think, but Bennett does. I still think Bennett can't get a call in this league. But I was surprised by that as well. Tom, is the biggest difference between Iowa and Wisconsin is that Wisconsin has two scorers that you know what you're going to get on it. And now Blackwell wasn't very good, but is that the
No.
biggest difference? Because they
threat.
got 2 guys and then other guys that do a bunch of things one night and maybe not the next night. And Iowa doesn't have that second guy yet still. Although Alvaro, did he get to double figures?
He did. It broke the streak.
Oh,
He hit that.
Tom-
He got that putback with like a minute left to go over.
Tom's stat is gone.
My stat I said that during the thing. I was like, oh, there goes my stat. 11-0. Now it's gone.
But I think that's the biggest
Now
difference,
it's
isn't
gone.
it? Is that Iowa doesn't have. I mean, they got 2 guys that can just kill you.
Well, I'll tell you. Tate Sage played really well.
Absolutely.
I thought he was really aggressive. He had his best game in a while, and I thought he's been shooting with confidence. I thought Coop got off to a really good start too. Hit a couple shots early, but then his offense just faded. That just seems to happen with Iowa. Is they can't find a consistent second scorer, and everybody else. Here's the thing. Like if you look at Iowa from like, and this is no disrespect to those players, but 2 to 8, Iowa is not as strong as most of those really good Big Ten teams. I think Bennett Sturts is as good as any player in the conference.
Yeah.
Even Keaton Wagler or Wagler, however you
Yeah,
say
say
his
it
name.
right, Tommy. You're gonna get in trouble.
Wagler, yeah, I'll get yelled at about that. He's as good as those guys. He's as good as any of those guys. But it's just that 2 to 8 is much more inconsistent. Where all these other Big Ten teams, Braden Smith is the best player on Purdue, but they've got Kaufman Wren and Fletcher Lawyer and Cox and all these other guys that can score the ball. And Michigan's got, they've got Yaxel Lindenberg, but they've got Mara and Morez Johnson and Amari Burnett, and all these guys that can score. Wisconsin's got, Boyd, who's, by the way, Greg Gard made sure after the game saying that Nick Boyd was the best player on the floor, which I thought was funny.
I've
I
heard
was like,
that
"What are you
too.
doing?"
I saw something on social media on Monday that said that that Nick Boyd owned Bennett during the head-to-head matchup, and that was interesting. And take nothing away from Nick
They-
Boyd.
they-
He
they-
played well.
he
played
played
really
great.
good. Yes, absolutely.
He had the best game of anybody in there, but it's like, oh, he was the best player on the floor. And I'm just like, what are you trying to make controversy?
He was the best. He had the best game. That's the only way to put it. Tom
Yeah.
Kakert joining us right now on Off There with Matt Randazzo. Tom, I want to go back real quick to Nebraska just because of the fact that I heard that the crowd was outstanding. I always love to gauge this with you. It's another 8:00 start on a Wednesday. That 1 hour is really and the students were good against Nebraska. The students were there.
It was packed with students.
Will the students be there on Wednesday night? I'm going to be there on Wednesday night. One of my kids is going to be there on Wednesday night. Is it going to be low? I mean, and maybe the fact that I'm there helps.
It's a big night when the Dazzler's in the house.
Jeez, I'm going to start getting who is it? Like the big game reputation that I only show up when there's big games or something like that. But your thoughts on the crowd? Not me, but the crowd.
Yeah, I hope that there's a good crowd, because they need it. They need it. It made a difference. It helped them win that game. It was the difference in winning and losing that.
But can they play well at home? It's been. I don't feel like it's been for a long. They never start well at home. They haven't shot well at home in a long time. Aren't they due to play really well at Carver Hawkeye Arena?
They are, but I don't know if they will. I don't know. Ohio State's got a lot of talent on that team. They got the Bynum kid, and I don't think Mobley's going to play, but yeah, they'll get Royal back, I think. So they've got some dudes, and Thornton's always been a really good player.
Yeah,
in my eyes.
You're about ready to say a pain in the ass for the Iowa Hawkeyes. It's okay, you can say that.
He's been that more than once.
Doesn't their quad one? Didn't they beat Wisconsin just last week? That's not a quad one.
I don't believe so. No,
probably because it was at home.
Because it was at home.
Yeah.
Wisconsin wasn't. It might filter to one now, but with Wisconsin beating Iowa, but I'm not sure.
I
think they have to be in the top 30.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so too. I got a little football to talk to you about in a second, but real quick, Wednesday night, give me some. What does Iowa have? You don't seem too optimistic. I don't want to paint the picture.
I'm scared about this game. I really am.
Because
Ohio State is a desperate team right now. Here's a fun stat for you. Last 10 games, Ohio State has gone win, loss, win, loss, win, loss all the way down. And guess what? They've lost on Sunday.
Who'd they got Michigan State? They were Michigan State.
They lost to Michigan State. Yeah, they lost at Michigan State. So there you go. Sprinkling some sunshine.
Besides desperate,
plus you're going to be in the building. That's the other.
That has nothing to do with anything.
What's Iowa's record with you in the building?
I've been to one game.
Oh, what's Iowa's record?
They played your Illini and they got beat.
Your Illini.
You're
the one with an Illini helmet on your desk.
It has been a bad year for Charlie when it comes to watching his sports teams in person. The Lions lost when we went up there, but Charlie is not going on Wednesday. So I think that might be the difference, hopefully, on Wednesday. Besides the win-loss, desperate stuff, what are the keys to this game? I think Iowa has to get off to a good start. Like, I feel like and they did against Wisconsin, but in that building, I want the crowd to get in it early and be there the entire time. And sometimes that doesn't happen.
I think you can crack Ohio State if you put them down early. You can take some of their will away if you can get up. I said this before. I think they desperately need a game where they're leading like 10-2 at the first media timeout, the under 16, and the place is jumping a little bit and everybody's getting excited. That's that's what you need, and they just have not had that in a while, and they've got to get off to that good start. And it can't be just. It was interesting. They got off to the good start at Wisconsin, and Bennett wasn't the guy scoring. It was everybody else that was scoring, and I thought that was a good sign for them. I was like, oh well, okay, they're gonna, do well here. And then it just, and even the first, they get the ball the first possession of the second half, and Bennett hits a three, and you're thinking, oh, okay, here we go. And then it's like a 10-0 run.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden it was Iowa behind by like 5 or 6.
And they kept hanging around from 5 to 7 for a while, and then eventually they
And then got hit with another run, and then it was, yeah.
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 My pick to click.
I think
Wednesday. You ready for this one?
Yeah.
Coop. And here's
I
why.
hope so.
And he was 2 of 10, I think, from 3 the other night. Knocked down a couple, and then Tom. And maybe it's just me. Are you wearing a Bear shirt, Tom?
I am.
Take that, so disrespectful.
Yeah.
His nothing looks bad. Am I wrong? Like every shot he's taking is either back iron or in and out, and I feel like he gets on track and he knocks down some shots and hopefully.
Well, the Iowa fans are just out on Coop, and I just don't get it. He's played really well, I think, defensively. He didn't get a rebound at Wisconsin, but I think he's shooting it with some confidence. I thought there were a couple times where he should have just let one fly, and he just moved the ball. But I thought that was a problem with Iowa overall the other day. Was they may have overpassed a couple times where it's like, yeah, I get good shot, great shot kind of thing. You're thinking, but then you're down to like under 5 seconds left on the shot clock when you're good, great, and then you feel like you got to force a shot up maybe, and it gets contested or whatever.
Remember that Peyton Stanford, I think it was his junior or sophomore year, went through an awful stretch shooting. Can Peyton shoot still? Tom, did he forget how to shoot?
He's still good.
Yeah, and I'm telling people, Coop can shoot. Like, it's not something he just forgot how to do. He can do it at a high level, and let's hope he breaks out of it Wednesday night with the Dazzler in town. Little football before we get out of here. There's a buzz recruiting wise, and so I had to ask you. There's a 2027 kid, I believe, quarterback out of the Chicagoland area that's shot up the recruiting rankings. Maybe one of the best quarterbacks in the country. And rumor has it he likes Iowa and Iowa likes him, obviously. Can you tell us a little bit about this young man? And say it ain't so, a quarterback wants to come to Iowa.
Yeah, Jake Nawrot, who is a quarterback out of the Chicago area, goes to Hershey High School and the Chicago area, and had a really good junior year. But he's really picked up steam in terms of being a national recruit in the last couple last month and a half. His dad's former Hawkeye, and parents are Hawkeyes, so that's a driving force here. Is that he's got some pretty strong ties. It's obviously been a school that he's visited Iowa last year. They didn't offer him. He's just sort of blown up in the last couple months as his film's gotten around, and everybody's kind of jumped up and like, oh, okay, you're really good. And he's more of a traditional quarterback, so I think he fits Iowa's scheme. He's got a really good relationship with Tim Lester already, so we'll see. But we've got him ranked 32nd overall in the country, which is actually a 4-star, not a 5-star. But he's right on the borderline of that. So, and the number 2 quarterback in the 2027 class.
What are the other schools that are in on him? This is what I always get excited about.
Yeah, like Oak State. I mean, it's not as impressive a list as you would think. Bama's been snooping around on him a little bit, and some other like blue blood type schools, but it's, the Kentuckys and schools like that have been around on him. But yeah, Steve Wilfong from On3, who's best in the business, had it put in a prediction, at 60%. So he feels confident enough
I
to put it
love
out there. But
percents. Tom, I love percentage questions. It's the best.
yeah, so he's an interesting kid. I'm still just kind of getting to know a lot about him, but if they can get him, he's going to visit. He's got a couple of visits coming up, March and April, some visits, and if Iowa could lock him down early, boy, that'd be something to a class that's already in our top 25 nationally for the 27 class. So they could build a pretty monstrous class if they got him.
Running back coaches. Any thoughts on that before I let you go? Replacing Omar Young, who went to the Raiders.
Yeah, Omar's at the Raiders. So the one name that I came back to right away was the guy who was a candidate last time, and that's Jason Manson, who's in kind of an assistant offensive analyst role now. He knows the personnel. He was kind of functioning as the running backs coach a little bit while there was that interim when Liddell was gone and before they hired Omar. If they bring in a running back on a visit or something, he was the guy taking him around. So I just think that would be the natural fit. Easy, slides right in, knows the offense, knows the people. But it's Tim Lester's hire. That's Omar was the guy that he went with last time. Tim's got to be comfortable with whoever they decide to go with, and Kirk will sign off on it. So we'll see what happens.
Who wins the Elimination Chamber? And then I'll let you go. Men, women.
I got to see who's in the full field.
Oh, but isn't it Cody?
Yeah, I'm sure Cody's going to win. I don't know who's going to win the women's. Probably Tiffy Time, maybe.
We can watch it together after we celebrate Wheezy on Saturday night. Don't forget about that. We got to celebrate the OG, if you will.
Legend.
The legend that
OG
is
Wheezy.
Scott Weiss. All right, Tommy. I appreciate
Hey,
you.
while you're talking about Wheezy, Ken Palm has Iowa, I think 25th now.
Real drink. What do you think the line is on Wednesday?
I think Ken Palm has it like Iowa by like 4 or 5, so I'm gonna guess it's probably about 5.
I think you're being negative, Tom. I think Iowa wins Wednesday.
Okay.
I think you're
I didn't say
pessimistic.
Iowa was going to lose.
That's
I didn't say Iowa was going to lose.
what I heard.
It's a concerning game for me.
It's scary,
I think people
is what
are
you
just.
said.
I think people are just thinking, oh well, they'll just win this one. It's not going to be easy. I think they will win, but I think it's going to be a hard one. Like Sunday, I think we both knew you're walking into a trap. You're walking
At
into one
halftime
there.
when they were down 1, I was like, okay, like this is okay. Like I don't think I really ever had I don't want to say I didn't think they could win, but I just kind of had it chalked up as I thought it was one of the toughest games they had left on their schedule. Like and obviously the trip to Nebraska.
Besides Michigan.
Yeah, absolutely. But I don't. Did you see? Oh no, I don't want to get into it. I'll let you get out of here, Tommy. We got a lot to get to. So, all right, buddy, be good. No more Bears shirts on my show. I'll see you Wednesday night. All right, we're done. We're fading off of him and getting done with that nonsense. Tom Kakert, Hawkeye Report. Kyle was on yesterday. Blair does an amazing job. Tanner does an amazing job. Tom is adequate at what he does. He does a good job too. So if you need your Iowa athletics covered, check out the HawkeyeReport.com. Coming up after the break, it was a special weekend of high school wrestling on both sides of the river, especially in Iowa. There are 3 state champions from Bettendorf in what was Dan Knight's last go around as a head coach, retiring after 20 years. Dan and another coach at Bettendorf, Mark Trizzino, very, very integral to obviously the success of Bettendorf Wrestling. They're both stepping down for a new era to begin. We're going to talk about those, about the weekend, about the memories, all those kind of things. You're not going to want to go anywhere. That's next right here on OTA. We'll be right back. All right, be honest. Are you craving Hungry Hobo again? You know, that fresh sliced meat piled high on those amazing sandwiches, hot off the grill chicken and steak with all those delicious toppings, the biggest and best selection of baked potatoes, or simply some waffle fries dipped in cheese. Well, now that Quad City favorite is even easier to get. Download the Hungry Hobo app today. Order ahead, skip the line, and earn rewards all at the same time. There's Double Points Monday and exclusive specials as well. With 12 locations in the Quad City area, it's Hungry Hobo. Now even easier to find, but still hard to resist.
Rafferty Funeral Home, dedicated to serving families in the Quad Cities since 2007.
Hi, welcome. Yeah, come on in.
An experienced staff plans each service to reflect the unique life and legacy of your loved one. Rafferty Funeral Home is proud to serve our community with dignity, respect, and compassion, helping you to celebrate your traditions and lasting memories no matter your faith, culture, or budget. Rafferty Funeral Home in Moline. Call today to discuss prearrangements.
When it comes to quality, convenient pizza, Godfather's Pizza in Silvis has you covered. Featuring a beautiful dine-in area, delivery, and a carry-out window. Godfather's Pizza is that pizza you grew up with, not a convenience store. You see, at Godfather's Pizza, the dough is made fresh daily. That mozzarella cheese is shredded fresh and never frozen. And those toppings are abundantly piled high each and every time. Locally owned and operated since 2010, Godfather's is a huge supporter of local athletes right here in the Quad Cities. So come on by and check them out at 1211 Avenue of the Cities in Silvis. Order online at godfathers.com and reunite with that same delicious pizza you grew up with. Welcome back to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Tuesday in the Quad Cities. It was an awesome weekend of wrestling. I kind of missed the days being in local news because this was one of those Saturday nights where you got somebody in Des Moines, somebody in Champaign, and a bunch of state wrestling championships. That was the case again this past weekend. We talked about it a little bit yesterday, but a trio of Bulldogs winning a state championship. And it also marks the end of an era a bit over at Bettendorf High School. So joining me now to talk more about it is head coach Dan Knight and longtime assistant coach Mark Trizzino. Both of you guys joining me right now on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. Thank you guys for doing this. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for the offer.
Yeah. I mean, we'll get into it a little more. This was the 20th and final year of you two doing what you guys have done at a high level at Bettendorf. But I want to talk about the weekend first, Coach. And we'll start with you, Dan, because it was a special weekend to be up there one last time and to bring back 3 championships from 3 young men that have just represented Bettendorf High School in such a great way. Your thoughts of this past weekend?
It was outstanding. Kids performed really well. You know, we've had those 4 guys, the 3 champs and Cody Trevino. They just had an outstanding season. You know, a couple of them are undefeated, a couple of them with 1 or 2 losses, but they were all number 1 seeds and they came out in a big way with bonus points all the way out. But like I told some other people, that the big difference were the guys that took a loss and had to come back through the backside, and they scored 30 points. So without them, we don't take home a trophy. So it was a true team win.
Absolutely. A second place team finish. Mark, when you look at it, and you guys have been there and done it for so long, what made this group special? I know 9 guys, I think, went up there with opportunities. What made this group special? You've had so many special groups. What was it about this group that you liked?
I think this year we had our group was we had, you know, top 5 or 6 highly, you know, top-notch athletes, ranked some of them nationally and always ranked high in the state. And then we had a group of kids that just were maybe, not true wrestlers. They just come out for wrestling during wrestling season. And you have to put the whole season together. And the interesting thing, as Dan said, is without those guys that just wrestle during the season, we'd probably finished 6th or 7th. So it just shows you it's truly a team effort. And all the points those guys scored helped. And it's not always about your top quality guys. It's, you still need the guys that, just come out for something to do. So that made it extra special, I think.
Absolutely. Coach Knight, you look at it and you watch your son wrestle for the last time at the high school level and finish with another state championship. So you're there as coach, you're there as dad. How does that work? I guess, obviously you're there as coach. Can you separate it? And Mark's smiling down below on the screen because he's been in that situation too. Take me through that dynamic of being dad and coach in the same time.
He's wrestled since he's been very, very little, and I've always been in his corner. And I know some coaches don't coach their kids in the corner and they're 2 mats away and trying to look and are nervous. And we've never done that. He's always wanted me in the corner. And so I'm kind of blessed to be able to have a front row seat in all his matches. And he's always done a good job of being able to separate dad and coach. And, it's always seemed to work out really well.
And to watch him win that state championship once again. And what's it like afterwards? Because you are a proud coach, you're a proud dad. Talk about that moment and those moments afterwards that had to be special one last time on the mats in Des Moines.
Yeah, it's tough. It's a good problem because Jake gets done and we run in the back and you want to give him a big hug and he's doing interviews and you kind of want to listen to that, but then you got to run out real quick because Cody's up right now. And so it's different, but it's a good problem to have.
No, absolutely it is, Coach. It's a very good problem to have. Mark, you look at this and this is 20 years together for you two. And I love doing this together because it takes an entire program, if that makes any sense. It takes more than one to get things done and to build a program. Kind of talk about that, because how did you guys start coaching together? And kind of take me, I don't want to say you guys are old, and I'm not going to, because you could both kick my butt, but take me back to the early days and how did it all start?
Well, I think Dan came in and actually his first year, he coached. I helped out a little bit, and then I think someone left and he asked me if I wanted to help, and I said, I will help, but then you got to look for someone else, to fill this spot. For 20 years, he never filled the spot. And I will say, we have our differences, we do things, but I will say we are pretty much on the same level and the same times we're sitting in the corner, and at the same time we yell the same thing what the kids should be doing. And I've never sit in a corner with someone like that you're on the same page, yelling the same thing. Sometimes someone yell, hey, go left, and the other guy's going, yeah, go right. But I'd say 98% of the time we're on the same page. So we work good together.
No, and it's funny because Coach Trizzino is a Hawkeye. You're finally wearing black and gold, Coach Knight. It's not an odd couple because you guys are both in the same wavelength, but kind of tell me through your perspective, were you not doing your job by getting in that somebody to replace him? You were doing that on purpose, weren't you? You wanted him to stay.
For sure. And every year I think he said, hey, I'm going to be done. And I said, no, I made him be locked in until Jake's done. And now we're here. So it's when I moved into town, I think Jake was just shy of 2 years old, and we were actually living about 2 houses away from each other. So Jake kind of grew up with Coach Trizzino.
Can you talk about that, because you're on the same wavelength, and he just mentioned it. Take it through your perspective. He talked about saying the same things and all the tell me through your eyes, what do you see?
Well, I think we both are high energy guys. We both feed off each other real well in practice. I like to show technique, and he loves the working out and the motivating and the putting them through the workout, and that's always worked really well for us. But I think even if we're both yelling and we happen to maybe yell different things, it doesn't bother us. Like we're both yelling and energized, and we want the best for the kid. And if we do yell different things, we'll look and say, "What do you think? What do you think?" And then, hey, we'll decide. So we never disagree to the point where, oh geez, I can't believe you did that, or it's never like that. And we're always trying to look out for the kids and try to get the best outcome for them.
Mark, you look at it and you guys have, and correct me if I'm wrong. I've been wrong. My wife is downstairs. She loves to correct me when I'm wrong. So, but 2 state championships, team wise and team duels, 2 state championships in the traditional individual. Can you take me through memories, Mark? Like when you look 20 years or whatever, what pops out first? Is it the wrestlers? Is it the banners are very important? The trophies are awesome. What pops out to you? And then Coach, keep thinking, Coach Knight, because you're next. But what pops out for you?
Okay.
I love the competition. That's what I'm going to miss the most. But it's not just winning. I know I talked to someone the other day. We get athletes that come back, and Coach Knight said he's the technique guy, and he sits in practice and he shows more moves in one day than I ever knew. So I didn't know a lot, so I didn't have to do technique, and I like doing the training.
He's not telling the truth.
I don't know many moves, but the thing is, it's when the kids come back, what we've taught them. And I know we've had kids that tend to show up late, and our motto's always been, we're training them for when they get out, because 98% of these kids are, after high school, they're done. And if we can teach them, they start showing up late, and I say, hey, you do that when you go out and you get a job, you're not going to have a job. So we try to teach them, be on time, work hard, be disciplined, and do the right things. And I think if we could do that for kids, that's what it's all about. But the bonuses of championships, that's good too. We like that. So,
That's good. I was going to say, Coach Knight, he's doing the political answer and telling you what you want to hear. Now you be greedy. What tell me the truth.
Yes,
Go ahead, Coach.
We like to win. But you got to do it the right way.
I think we've been fortunate. We've been really fortunate to have some good kids, some really good, high quality wrestlers. And I always say, if you put 2 or 3, 4 kids together, it makes us look really, really smart, because they get really, really good wrestling each other. And then we look like we're geniuses because they're so tough. We've had kids that are multi-sport athletes, but we also have kids that are, just wrestlers. And so I think it's a good mix. My biggest problem is we've been here so long, it's trying to figure out what kid, were you here when this guy was here? Or, it's hard to, the eras of when you were here, when did you graduate? Okay, but when you graduate, I thought the same team. And they're like, oh no, So we've had a lot of kids come through and a lot of memories. And I wouldn't trade that for the world. Being on a wrestling mat for 32 years total and 20 years at Bettendorf, it's been awesome. And I don't know how this next phase is going to go, but I'm looking forward just to being a dad and watching. And I don't know if I'm going to like sitting up in the stands, but I don't think I have an option, so I better like it.
No, Coach,
he's going to try to find a way to get in.
I want to talk to you guys about the future in a second, but I covered the area for 25 years, and Bettendorf Wrestling is Bettendorf Wrestling, and and can you talk about Coach Knight, we'll go with you first, about the culture. I know it's such a cliche word these days when it comes to chemistry, culture building, those kind of things, but you both have touched on it a little bit. It's not just winning, it's the way you win. What is Bettendorf Wrestling? Because I know the trophies, the banners, that kind of takes center stage, but if I asked you, what is Bettendorf Wrestling, Coach Knight, what comes to mind? What do you want it to be known as?
What I remember as a Clinton River King, and Bettendorf was our rival you know. But I can remember going down to the Bettendorf Bi-State and doing all those kinds of things. I have a vivid memory of the yellow Bettendorf booster jackets that everybody wore. And I was always amazed as I got older that the people wearing those jackets, they didn't have kids in the program anymore. Maybe their kid graduated 10 years ago, but they were still there. You know, they were still part of it all. And it was just the Bettendorf wrestling tradition is just so strong. And when I got an opportunity to come down here to coach, I didn't, you know, didn't bat an eye and knew that was a great opportunity, and it's worked out really well. I mean, it's crazy. I get phone calls from guys, you know, that have wrestled in the past and calling you and texting you, sending emails, wishing you luck, saying, "Hey, we're following you. We watched you on TV last night," and they just they're Bulldog Bettendorf Bulldog Wrestling fans for life, and that tradition is still really really strong, and hopefully we kind of carried that tradition on.
Absolutely, Mark. Your thoughts on you've been there with kids in it and all those kind of things. Your thoughts on what Bettendorf wrestling is?
I think, I'm not even from Iowa, but I know when I came to Bettendorf, the history, as Dan said, is, you run into kids that went to high school. The just the power and the recognition of Bettendorf wrestling was always stood out. And I think for us, I think one of the things when Dan first came into town is his motto was just a positive attitude in talking about the history of Bettendorf and start talking to kids about winning state titles and being the win. And then he gets a couple kids to win. And when you're around someone that's winning, it's contagious. And it's like, hey, that kid can do it. I'm in the same room. I can do it now too. And I think that's what he was really, really good at, is getting the kid's head and, making them think positive and believing that they could win, and just look at the history of what's happened in the past at Bettendorf. And I think he was able to just keep that going at a very, very high level.
You guys have both talked about the future. I want to do individually, and then I want Bettendorf wise. But obviously, Coach Knight, you just mentioned it, going down watching your son, and I love that dynamic, because I don't know if I'd want to be by you if you're in the stands. I don't know if that's safe for the people around you. Yeah, exactly. I joked when you got on here, I'm like, hey coach, you're an old man now, you're retired. But what will it be like not going to that place every single day during the winter and the things that you've grown accustomed to doing for 20 years?
I think my body tells me it's about time to be done. I always said if I can't show stuff like technique wise 100% at speed, then it's time to get out. And this year was kind of the first year that I kind of couldn't do that really well, at least in my opinion. And it's just I'm looking forward to being able to watch Jake. I've always had, like I said, a front row seat, and always had an inside connection as far as strategy and what we're doing and watching film and all that kind of stuff. And I won't get to do that. I say I won't, but I'll probably bother Jake with videos from afar. I'll probably send him messages, but we're only 3 hours away. So, I'd like to think I still will be a little part of his wrestling, but I I have all the confidence in the world that the guys at the University of Illinois, and they definitely don't need me to be involved in that process.
No, it should be so much fun to watch. Coach Trizzino, you finally get off the hook. Like, you don't have to. He finally is going to get a replacement for you, or they will at least. This has been, 18 years in the making. What will it be like for yourself? And then also, like, Bettendorf Wrestling, you want to leave it where you got it, in a better place, those kind of things. Your thoughts on what life's like next winter for you? Are you going to be putting people around your house in headlocks or anything like that? Or are you going to behave yourself?
I knew it was time for me to get out 10 years ago when I couldn't get back on the mat. I've got 2 new hips, and he kept bringing me in. And my next thing is I've got grandkids now. That's how old I am. And So I'm going to go back to the younger kids and try to help out and see what I can do there. At least step on the mat. I don't know how much I'll help, but I'll try. So I'll be in the wrestling room a little bit. Not as much.
I love to hear that. Coach, I want to talk to you real quick before we go, wrapping up with Coach Knight and Mark Trizzino from Bettendorf. I wanted to do this together, and because it's been a team. Can you kind of talk to that? Because, and we mentioned it a little bit at the beginning, that programs aren't built by one person, all those kind of things. And it's the athletes too. And I get that as well. But this was important for you two knuckleheads to do this together, wasn't it? Yeah. Knuckleheads in the nicest way possible, John.
There's nobody better than him. And he's a guy that always wants to be behind the scenes and not take any credit and just, oh no, I just am here. And, we wouldn't be that team without him. And what he's able to do with the kids from a motivational standpoint and getting them in shape and the belief and just everything. If you could see him work his magic in the wrestling room, you would understand. And that's something I don't have. I don't have that. And so I think we really worked really well together, and where his strengths were, mine weren't, and where my strengths were, maybe his weren't. And it was always a great fit, in my opinion.
Mark, I blame you because he's been the face of Bettendorf Wrestling, and we've had to deal with that face. We could have dealt with your face a lot better. It would have been nicer to see you more than that guy. Come on.
I don't think he passes on. He doesn't like to be in front either. He's like that. He's a very modest guy. I always kid him that, every time he meets somebody, he tells him he's an undefeated high school state champ. And I mean, he never tells anybody, but I'd always go up to people. Did he tell you he was undefeated champ? But no, he's modest himself. But I think, I do honestly think, he's highly respected. You mentioned to him, you can't argue with his success, both as an athlete, as a coach. And, he was very kind of the words he said to me, but I don't believe he's the main guy that runs that show, and he did a very good job at it. I'm just very, very glad I was able to be part of it. So
well said.
It was a good time.
Oh, well said.
Yep.
A couple more. I promise I won't keep you too long. Coach Knight, your son's going to Illinois, so we got Iowa State, Illinois, and Iowa all represented in this thing. So we're good. Nobody will complain to me that I'm not talking about one of the. Look at that right there. You mentioned Illinois, and obviously it's a great program. Talk about the fit there, maybe for your son, and I know it's far away, but not too far away. Just talk about what you see in the future when it comes to him on the college mats in the near future.
No, we really let him go. It was different when I was recruited. I went on all my recruiting visits by myself, but nowadays the family goes. Like, I went on every recruiting visit he went on. So it was awesome for me to get to see everything and interact with all the coaches. Instead of having him come back and tell me what everything was like, I got to experience it. I got to ask questions, and but totally 100% his decision. And you can just kind of tell where the good fit is. And we were happy, of course, because it's less than 3 hours away from home, and just great group of kids, just, interacting with them, whether it's out for dinner or in the community, just top-notch kids away from the mat. And then the coaching staff is awesome. They really do a good job, I think, of relating with the kids. The kids feel really comfortable with those guys, and they're also awesome on the mat. And as far as like workout partners that he's going to have, from coaches to kids, he'll have no reason not to get better. Like, you can't say that, I didn't have anybody to work out with. He's got a ton of kids to work out with. I'm excited.
It should be awesome. All right, guys, I want to go for a circle. Bettendorf in the future now, without you two gentlemen. Coach Trizzino, I know that Ben Euchre is somebody that has your guys' approval, and they haven't check boxes and all those kind of things. But your thoughts on Bettendorf in the future? Obviously, Coach Euchre would do fantastic job been at the highest level, knows how to do it. And the cupboard's not bare either. There's some talent returning. Your thoughts on Bettendorf Wrestling in the future, whose hands it's in, and all those kind of things?
I think Ben's got a track record. It's not like this is his first rodeo. He's been a head coach, and had great success. I mean, he built up the previous schools he was at and did a great job. I think he's got a little bit of that. I think it's he's got good support at Bettendorf. He knows what to do. He's already hunting down coaches, looking for coaches, and I think he's going to have great success and keep hopefully the dynasty going.
Absolutely. Coach Knight, we'll finish with you. You're in the building still. I know you're still teaching. Is it going to be hard not to wander down and give your 2 cents? But Mark's laughing. Mark, maybe more than 2 cents?
No, I think
he can't.
I think I say I want it to be his program. I don't want him looking over his shoulder and us peeking in there. I think he needs to have the time to do his thing the way he wants to do it with the guys he's doing it with. And we have 100% approval of him. I think it was great that he was on board this year, got to know a lot of the guys. They got a feel for him. And I think it's been a really good fit. And, he's got a lot of energy. He's a lot younger than us. And I think the other thing is he's got a son that's in 7th grade. So that's always motivating to you. And usually, like us, the big thing with us was my son's group. We had a ton of wrestlers, and they grew up from, little on up. And so that's what made this, to me, that's what made this group so special, was just a whole family. And I think, he can hopefully recreate that with his son and that group of kids. And, wrestling's a tough sport, but if you're around your buddies, it's a little more enjoyable. You don't mind being there if you're spending time with your friends. And I think that's a big key to success, and hopefully they can kind of do that again. And we'll be there. I told him I'll recruit the heck out of people because I'm in the building for 2 years.
Yeah.
And that's a big benefit, and we'll try to get as many people in that room as we possibly can. And then we'll let him do his thing.
You guys have been great. First off, you're not as old as you guys act. You act like you're going to get up and walk up with your walkers to stop it. You guys are still in your prime. And I'm also thankful that finally somebody from Bettendorf is on here that classes the place up. Usually it's Angerer. And so finally we have classy people from Bettendorf High School. I shouldn't say that because Michael Gordon's been on and others have been on, but you guys make Bettendorf look good. Pat, I don't know if he does. And then thank you from me because I covered the area for so long, and you put kids first. If that makes, I got to cover both your kid, the kids and the boys, and you put the kids first, and you get what it's about when it comes to what we like to do, and that's celebrate young athletes in the area. So you guys are class acts. I appreciate it. Enjoy retirement. I don't know if that sounds weird or not, but enjoy retirement. I appreciate your time, and we'll talk to you guys again soon. Thanks, guys. I appreciate you.
Thanks for having us. I'm glad you reached out. I was wondering, I missed you because you did such a great job. Seriously, we appreciate that.
Yep.
And
for sure.
I want you to know we have noticed you hadn't been around, but I just didn't know where you were.
Well, we're right here now, so now you can watch every day. Now you have no reason not to watch every day. I appreciate it, guys. Take care. All right, that is Mark Trizzino and Dan Knight. 20 years of just great excellence at Bettendorf High School, and it's going to be different next year. And Bulldogs will be great, but it was a special way to end this past weekend, and 2 class acts, that's for sure. We got more to get to. Coming up after the break, we're going to keep our attention on the high school level, and we talked to the Makokata girls yesterday. We're going to talk to the Mediapolis girls. They're going to play next week at state, get both sides and all those kind of things. That and much more. You're watching OTA on a Tuesday right here in the Quad Cities. We'll be right back.
Give me the keys. Learning to drive can be stressful for both the student and, yes, the parent as well. Relax. There's an easy way to avoid the stress. Skiles Driving School in East Moline has been helping new drivers hit the road with confidence for over 20 years. Whether you're a teen earning your first license or an adult looking for behind-the-wheel training, we've got you covered. Their certified instructors are patient, experienced, and use modern vehicles equipped for safety and comfort. From classroom instruction to real-world driving, we make learning safe, affordable, and even fun. Call 309-278-0098 or visit skylesdriving.com. Skiles Driving School. Get in, buckle up, drive your future forward.
Welcome back to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Tuesday in the Quad Cities. We talked yesterday about some girls' high school basketball. The Maquoketa girls heading to state once again in 3A. We talked about how loaded 3A is, and they get a really good team in the first round of the quarterfinals. They get a team from our area that hasn't lost a game all season as well. The Mediapolis girls are heading to state as well or I should say next week, and joining us now to talk all about it, a trio of Mediapolis players, Amelia Greer, Josie Hutchison, and Grace Holstein. Go left to right on your screen. Ladies, thank you so much for doing this. I appreciate this.
Yep, thanks for having us.
Absolutely. I'm going to start with you, Amelia. You guys are heading to state, and it's the first time this team, these seniors, all three are seniors, this senior group has gotten to state. What was Saturday evening like for you ladies, and what's it mean to be heading to Des Moines?
Saturday night was a crazy night. The gym was full of people from our community and PCM, and it was full of so much energy. It was a great atmosphere to play in. And I think it means a lot to our team to be able to go to state with all of these seniors that we have and the underclassmen. I think it'll be a really good and neat experience for us.
Josie, you ladies have been close several years and have had good seasons. What was it about this year that made the difference? And obviously, is it excitement, relief? What's the feeling as you get ready to head towards Des Moines next week?
Honestly, both. Like, it's obviously really exciting. We worked so hard, and I mean, last year we fell short to Benton, but this year we had Grace back, and we've been working hard all year. So I feel like it is kind of a relief that we finally made it to state this year.
Grace, what does it mean? Obviously, and you talk about being healthy, being out there, all those kind of things. What's it mean for you guys to be going to state, and what was it like? Obviously, I always joke that the 25 years I got to do it at WQAD, this time of year, the screaming in my head kind of just lingered all the time because you get the flag or the plaque on the Illinois side and the screaming ensues. What was that like on Saturday night for you ladies?
Yeah, it was great to be back playing with my teammates. We've been working so hard, and it was crazy. There was like 8 seconds left on the clock, and we were all just looking at each other like we finally did it. We all came together and played as one, and it was awesome.
Amelia, it's not easy, and you guys had to go and play a really good 6th-ranked team in PCM. And I guess if you look at it, undefeated so far this season, when did you guys start realizing, or did you know coming into the season with everybody back and the seniors, expectations were probably high for you guys to begin with? When did you realize, or was it from the start of the season, that this could be a state-bound team?
I think it was from the start of the season that we all had the confidence in each other that we could make it to state with this group of girls that we have.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. Josie, you kind of look at it too, undefeated, and that record is great, and you look at it, you don't like losing, all those kind of things. Does that get into your head? Obviously now it doesn't matter because it's win or go home, but was there something with the undefeated thing? Everybody wants to win all their games. Did you guys hear the noise when it came to not losing a game so far this season?
Yeah, I mean, like, it's been great. Like, obviously going into every game, hoping to win and keeping our winning record. Yeah.
Absolutely. What makes this team special? Grace, what's obviously we see the court and we see the talent. What makes this team click? What makes it special right now?
Well, we have 6 seniors on our team, and we've all been best friends since we started school together and been playing together since we were really little. So it's great that we're all friends and we can read each other's minds. So that's what makes it really fun to play together. And yeah.
Amelia, is there something to that? I know that culture and chemistry are cliche words that you hear a lot in sports, but it's important. What's this group like off the court? Not just so much on the court, but off the court as well.
Off the court, I think we're really close, especially since we've gone to school since we were little. And like we just like all talk to each other, like no matter the underclassmen, like we just love talking to each other in the hallways.
I love it. I love it. Josie, there's a thing that Iowa does where you win to go to state and then you get like a 8-day vacation. I don't know if it's good or bad or what it is, but there's that layoff between. You guys are playing great basketball. Haven't lost all season. Do you wish you played sooner? Do you like the break? Obviously being able to celebrate and maybe take a breath was nice, but kind of take me through the mindset of this team as they kind of practice and get ready this week for, I think Monday night is the battle with Makokata next week.
Yeah. I think it's good to have this break because obviously we have a full week of practice so we can prepare for them. But yeah, I think it'll be good for us.
Grace, this 3A is loaded. I mean, you're undefeated and you're a 7 seed, I think. And in 3A in general, you look around and there's so many good teams. How do you approach the state tournament? Obviously, it's one game at a time and a really good Makokata team off the bat. When you look at 3A, what do you think? What do you see? And maybe what do you expect?
Yeah, 3A is a very tough class, and we're going to have to come in and just play our basketball, you know. We're going to run into some tough competition, but as long as we play our game, then hope for the best.
Amelia, are you surprised that an undefeated team is sitting there with a 7 seed? And is there a little bit of a chip on your ladies' shoulders? Because, I mean, you haven't lost. And even rankings-wise all year, I think you finished 8th in the rankings. Is there a little chip on the shoulders of maybe being underlooked a little bit so far this season?
Definitely, because our strength of schedule isn't the best. So it hasn't helped us too much, but we've proved to the state that we're able to be ranked.
Josie, the community down there is awesome. It's been good. It's always great. And the football teams have been great. The girls basketball teams have been great. You mentioned the gym being packed and it was full of your fans as well. What is the community like right now? What was this weekend like? And how important is it to you ladies to know that wherever you guys go play, you're going to have a bunch of fans screaming and yelling their heads off?
Yeah, I feel like it's super important. I mean, everywhere, like all of our games, we know that we're going to have a big crowd. I mean, we have a lot of supporters that come out to every game, and yeah, I feel like it definitely helps us and it gets our momentum going.
Yeah. Grace, your head coach, Todd, you guys haven't been to state, but Coach Borson's been there a bunch. What's that guy mean to this program? I know he's somebody who's been with you guys, and he mentioned being on the show a couple weeks ago that this was one of those groups that you could almost identify in 8th grade and 7th grade that like this was going to be a fun group to have. What has Coach Borson meant to you guys, Grace?
Yeah, he means everything. He's always so supportive for us, and I can just remember from when we were little kids at basketball camp, like he's just a great guy and super encouraging, and he always wants us to succeed on and off the court. So yeah,
absolutely. No, he's one of the best on the court and off the court as well. Amelia, and I think it was Josie talking about practicing a little bit. What is this week like for you guys in the gym? Obviously, there's practice. Are you focused on Makokata, what they do? Is it about getting yourselves better? And everyone likes to be playing their best basketball at the right time of the season, this time of year. Are you guys, peaking and playing? Do you feel like you're playing your best basketball right now?
I feel like we're playing some of our best basketball right now. We're playing that tough competition, and I think it forces us to take both our offense and defense to a whole nother level.
Josie, what will the nerves be like? Do you know? Can you imagine? Have you, and there's the physical side of it, and there's, X's and O's, but there's being in the big arena and being ready to play in front of, at the stage. Have you prepared yourself for that aspect of things?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's going to be a little nerve-wracking, but I think I'm more excited to like play in that type of atmosphere, and I feel like it's just gonna be really fun.
Absolutely. All right, let's have some fun. We talked about culture and chemistry. Ladies, every team has a class clown or a jokester. And you guys, suddenly you all three smile. It might be the three. Is there, in a nice way, we're not being mean, but in a nice way, is there a class? I'll go with you, Grace. Is there a class clown or two or 10 on this team?
I don't know. I mean, we're all pretty outgoing, but you guys will like help me. I don't know who it is.
I think Coach probably would say all three of you guys, or probably everybody in a way, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, everyone brings something different to the table. We all have very strong personalities, that's for sure.
No, and that's a beautiful thing. You definitely need that as well. Amelia, I'm a food guy. I'm a foodie type of guy. I like to eat, if you couldn't tell. Is there a pregame, postgame meal celebration tradition that you guys have, ladies have, when it comes to basketball?
I don't think we necessarily have one, but there are two girls on our team who always need to eat pickles before our away games.
Yep, they have to get a pickle at every away game.
And so that's going to get me into the superstition stuff. That's obviously a superstition. Is there any more, Josie? Is there team-wise? We'll look at team-wise. Do you guys have any music, traditions, hairstyles, anything that you guys? I mean, obviously pickles is weird, but is there anything you guys have to do superstition-wise?
In the locker room before our games, but I mean, it always like switches. Yeah, what songs and stuff.
Okay, so personally, is there any superstitions? And we'll start, I guess, with you, Josie. Personally, do you have any superstitions? Are you superstitious?
Honestly, no. I don't really think I do anything.
Okay, that's good. Grace, any superstitions? Are you wearing the same hair, whatever, or what's going on?
That's actually exactly. I have to wear the same hairstyle for every game.
Okay, all right, and that's it.
I feel like that's about all. I have to put my shoes on before I put my warm-up pants on before every game.
Why?
Yeah.
You know it's easier to do it the other way, right?
I know.
So that's a superstition. I have a feeling there's more than just that, but we'll leave it at that with Grace. I think there's probably more there too. Amelia, any superstitions personally for you?
Like when I put on my ankle braces, I put on an ankle brace and then my shoe, and then I move to the next foot. Like I don't put my ankle braces on and then both my shoes.
And you say in your head you have to do it that way, right?
Yep.
And if not, what's going to happen? Do you know?
Who knows?
We're not going to find out. Let's not find out now. There's no reason to test it, especially with state coming up. If you could have dinner with one person in the entire world, I got to mix my questions up. I had somebody tell me the other day, they like the dinner question, but I got to mix them up a little bit. But we're going to go with that one. Amelia, if you could have dinner with anybody in the entire world, who would it be and why? Anybody, like Caitlin Clark, Michael Jordan, anybody, like you name it, you can do it. I can make it happen.
This is hard.
Josie?
Maybe Caitlin Clark. I don't know. I feel like that'd be cool. Just talk to her.
Absolutely. Grace?
I would have dinner with my grandma that I never met because she was a really great basketball player, and I just want to hear some advice that she has for me.
See, Grace, that's just a great answer. You can't top that answer. That's outstanding. Amelia, you can just have 2 meals. You can just, you don't have to waste it with anybody. You can just get 2 meals, so you're good to go. Ladies, next week, I do want to talk about goals real quick and expectations before you get up there. Amelia, this is a dream come true. I know that, but it's not like you ladies are content. You can kind of tell when you talk to you. What are your expectations for going to Des Moines next week?
I expect us to go out there, play our hardest, and I think we expect to play a tough game. They are a tough competition, and I think it should be a really good game.
Absolutely. Josie, same thing. You guys are going to win a state championship, aren't you?
That's the goal.
I love it. I love it. Grace, last word for you. Thoughts going into next week and the goals and expectations.
I think we just need to play how we always do. I mean, it's worked so far, so just work together and, yeah, go for the big thing.
Yeah, no, I agree. And make sure we're putting ankle braces on correctly and warm-ups on the wrong way and all those kind of things that you ladies do. Girls, I appreciate this. This has been a bunch of fun. I did have Makokoda on yesterday, so you're going to have to listen to that and then compare and contrast and all those kind of things as well. But I appreciate the time. Tell Coach I said best of luck, and we'll catch up with you guys again soon. Thanks so much, ladies.
Thank you.
All right. That is a trio of Mediapolis standouts as they get ready to head to state. And, of course, we'll add teams throughout the week with the other classes looking to punch their ticket to Des Moines coming up next week as well. The guys are getting rolling on both sides of the river in Iowa and Illinois. Awesome time of year when it comes to high school basketball. We got more to get to. You're watching Off the Air on a Tuesday right here in the Quad Cities. We'll be right back.
Hello, Dan Pearson here of FCA. Our team is thrilled to support Off the Air with our good friend Matt Randazzo. We share the view of the power of sport when it comes to relationships, including the influence of the coach. FCA believes the coach is the most influential person in America. Matt celebrates local coaches and athletes. His content is informational, insightful, and inspirational. Our Fellowship of Christian Athlete team loves partnering with Off the Air with Matt Randazzo while we engage, equip, and empower coaches and athletes in our 23 counties. FCA, the heart and soul in sports.
View from the West, the podcast covering Illinois high school football.
It's going to be a hard-hitting game. It's going to be great football.
Weekly analysis and reaction from around the western side of the state of Illinois.
This is the game we had circled when the year started.
Follow along on YouTube and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.
It's big-time football out there tonight, and I know we can play big-time football.
View from the West. We got you covered.
Are you looking for the Quad City's best chips and salsa? There's only one dude to turn to.
Right on.
Snoop. Hand-cut chips, fried fresh with that crunch you've come to love. And the most addicting salsa with delicious fresh ingredients each and every time. Pick up your chips and salsa, queso, enchiladas, and much more at the Stern Center in Rock Island. To place your order, simply call the man himself. It's Snoop at 309-314-8197 and find out for yourself what the rest of the Quad Cities already loves. Welcome back to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. I'm kind of dancing along to the song. I'm hungry. Snoop's. I haven't had Snoop's in way too long. I need to bug my guy Snoop and partake in some chips and salsa real soon. Thank you guys for watching Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. It is a Tuesday in the Quad Cities, February 24th. A lot we've covered already. A little more to get to before we get out of here for the day. Want to thank you guys, one, for watching. Two, I want to thank our guests. We started with Tom Kakert. Tommy was great. Iowa, big game tomorrow. Talk some basketball, but what we're kind of gauging mostly on social media is the excitement behind a little recruiting. A Chicago area recruit, a quarterback, is quickly rising up the 2027 rankings and seems to like Iowa. So if you missed Tommy, go back and check that out. Great stuff with Tom Kakert. Really fun segment with Dan Knight and Mark Trizzino. And it was cool because Dan getting a lot of the headlines, retiring after 20 years, but Coach Trizzino's been there every step of the way with them. So wanted to have them both on together to kind of talk about their legacy and what Bettendorf Wrestling's meant to them, and just a bunch of fun stuff. So go check that out if you're a Bettendorf person, if you're a Bettendorf fan, if you're a wrestling fan in general. Great stuff from those two. And then also the Mediapolis girls just joined us right here on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. They will take on Makokada coming up on Monday at 8:15, I believe, in Des Moines. We had Makokada on yesterday. They were an absolute blast. So go back and check out yesterday's show as well. It's a great time of year for high school basketball. Tonight, girls-wise alone, on the Illinois side, in 1A, Weathersfield plays Lanark Eastland. In 2A, Alleman goes to Mendota to take on Byron. In 3A, it's Metamora and Galesburg in a really good basketball game, 6 o'clock down at the Thiel Gym in Galesburg. And then in 4A, it's Moline and Richwoods going head-to-head at 6 p.m. I think A-Town plays as well tonight too. So a busy night for the girls in Illinois. Girls in Iowa, 3 teams. Pleasant Valley making the long trip to Waukee Northwest to take on a very good Waukee Northwest team. That's at 7 o'clock. Central DeWitt will look to punch their ticket back to state. They take on Solon in 4A, and Clinton's been really good in 4A this year. Joliana Guy is one of the best young players in our area in the state of Iowa. They'll take on Clear Creek Amana tonight as well. So busy night. High school girls basketball, the boys going this week as well. Started yesterday. We'll keep our eyes on them and have, I believe it's Wednesday night is Moline United Township. I think Alleman won yesterday, so it's Alleman Newman tomorrow night at Don Morris. They played earlier in the year. Alleman nearly beat the number 1 ranked team in the state earlier in the year, so we'll keep a close eye on that one as well. So a lot of good stuff to get to when it comes to high school basketball this time of year, and of course we'll have plenty of it for you right here on OTA as well. College basketball wise, we talked about Ohio State coming up tomorrow at 8 p.m. at Carver Hawkeye Arena. Michigan, Illinois is Friday. What a game. One of the best games of the entire season for both teams. A great matchup. We'll preview that and get things ready. Coming up on Thursday on the show, we're going to have, in my opinion, the best color commentator in all of college basketball. Our good friend Jess Settles will be on the show on Thursday as well. So we'll talk a lot of Big Ten basketball that day, kind of going over the Ohio State-Iowa game, and then previewing what's to come with Illinois and Michigan. Iowa State is tonight at Utah. Kind of figure out Jake Brend. I don't know. I know with traveling it's going to be tough to get him on his normal Wednesday slot, but we'll get him here and talk some Cyclones sometime this week as well. Iowa, Illinois, women's basketball on Thursday. We're going to effort to track down Rob Brooks sometime here real quick too soon and see if we can get him back on the show as well. So a great time of year. We mentioned football-wise, the NFL Combine coming up next week. I believe next week. The draft is right around the corner. Free agencies before that. So there's always something going on, and they leak great stuff. Like the Lions will play in Germany this year. That was announced today. So the NFL has it figured out. They got a reveal for the schedule, all of those kind of things. I will say this. I loved Ben Johnson, and they're doing things right now at the Combine, and I believe Ryan Poles spoke this morning. My guy Brad Holmes is talking at noon, so I'll be listening to that. But coaches as well, Ben Johnson, and they asked Ben Johnson about the Lions hire of Drew Petzig as offensive coordinator. Very good friends of Ben Johnson, and obviously they're friends, so he's going to say he loves it. But Ben doesn't give out too many flowers, if you haven't noticed. He likes to rile up the rivals, especially the Packers. So I think if you get any flowers or nice talk coming from Ben Johnson about another rival in the NFC North, it probably means good things. I hope so, as a Lions fan, that's for sure. So I want to thank you guys for watching today's show. As I mentioned, we will have Jess Settles coming up on Thursday. We know that for sure, and plenty of great stuff. This is a fun time of year because, like I say, at night I just look and check things out and kind of arrange who went. Like all of those games we talked about for the girls, we're going to try to catch up with several of them tomorrow on the show. Coaches, players, all those kind of things as we work our way through February and into March as well. I did want to mention one more thing before I go. Once again, if you're a Alleman person, if you're a Western Big Six, if you're a Quad Cityan in general, go check out yesterday's show. We celebrated the life of Father Marabelli. I will tell you guys this. I know a lot of people have asked after the show when the arrangements are. There's a rosary at Alleman High School at 12:30 on Sunday. The visitation is from 1 to 6 at Don Morris Gym on Sunday. Very fitting place for it to be. I love that. And then the funeral itself is Monday at 11 a.m. at Sacred Heart in Moline. So you can probably plan on there not being an Off the Air with Matt Randazzo coming up on Monday, and for very good reason. But like I mentioned, we have Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, a bunch of great stuff to get to. And who knows, maybe we'll do a short one before we head there, depending on how the weekend goes as well. So anyways, thank you guys so much for joining us on a Thursday. We'll be back with another OTA coming up tomorrow.